Okay. All right, are we ready in the media? Everyone's good? Okay, we're going to go ahead and start this. And by the way, thank you all for being here today. Everyone, my name is Alan Wilson. I'm the Attorney General for the state of South Carolina and as chair of the South Carolina Human Trafficking Task Force. It is a pleasure to be at the meeting to first thank everyone for their anti-human trafficking efforts across this great state of South Carolina. I appreciate the dedication and the hard work of so many in preventing and responding to this horrible and dreadful crime. Today, I am really excited to announce a new partnership to better ensure the safety of victims through the vetted provision of quality services for both children and adults who are the victims of human trafficking. The state task force, the Human Trafficking Task Force, which many of these people up here are members of, or all are members of, under a legislative mandate, have joined forces with Safe House Project to certify victims service providers. The Safe House certification will be for those working solely or primarily with human trafficking victims. South Carolina's efforts to better protect human trafficking victims began in 2019 with the launch of a victim service provider certification for human trafficking professionals. The first of its kind in the nation, the state will now require Safe House certification for residential, community-based programs. This is another first in the nation. This program will certify up to 20 programs a year. These are programs that are victim services providers, again, but primarily or mostly deal with the victims of human trafficking. And it will be throughout the state of South Carolina. The Safe House certification services will start with 8 nonprofits who will be invited for the first cycle of this statewide vetting process. Now, we have 2 people here today who are our partners. We have Christy Wells, who is the CEO, and Brittany Dunn, who is the COO of Safe House Project. Christy's going to share her remarks here momentarily, but I learned something about both of these women. They both married military Navy pilots, right? And I'm an Army guy, so don't hold that against me, an Army judge advocate. But it's always great to be with families of those who are serving, and I thank you and your families for their service. But now we will hear from Christy, who will talk to us a little bit more about Safe House Project and this partnership, and then I'll come back up and wrap up the remarks, and of course we'll entertain questions from the media. Christy.
Thank you.
Go ahead, I'll switch with you.
Good morning, everyone. And first of all, thank you, Attorney General Wilson. It is an honor to stand with you here today. As he said, I'm Christy Wells. I'm the CEO of Safe House Project. We're a national anti-trafficking organization dedicated to advancing the fight against trafficking by increasing survivor identification, helping survivors exit their trafficking situation and access safe housing, and expanding quality care for survivors on their healing journey through funding as well as certification. As both the CEO of this organization and a proud resident of South Carolina, today represents a significant milestone in our collective fight against human trafficking. I want to first acknowledge Attorney General Wilson, whose tireless leadership has transformed South Carolina's approach to human trafficking. Under his guidance, our state has built a comprehensive framework for the identification, prevention, and survivor support. He has strengthened legislation that has demonstrated that addressing human trafficking requires a survivor-centered holistic approach. And thanks to his efforts, South Carolina has become a true model for the nation. I also want to recognize Catherine Moorhead and the Human Trafficking Task Force. By uniting law enforcement and service providers and advocacy groups and prosecutors, they have created an interconnected support system that truly changes lives. Today, we're announcing a groundbreaking initiative that builds on this strong foundation. South Carolina, as Attorney General Wilson said, will become the very first state to require Safe House certification for both residential and community-based services supporting trafficking survivors. Let me share why this certification is so critical. Research shows that without a safe place to go and heal and without high-quality support services, once somebody exits their trafficking situation, 80% will experience re-victimization. Safe House certification bridges the gap between survivors needing services and programs that are equipped to serve them. Our certification process evaluates through a really comprehensive 5-category system. We evaluate the organizational structure and compliance, the residential programming and services, the governance and executive leadership, the financial management of the organization, as well as any specialized services that they provide survivors. This evaluation ensures that there are the necessary policies and procedures and programming to effectively demonstrate research-based approach to survivor trafficking, to trafficking-specific care, implement trauma-informed practices, and incorporate survivor input and maintain sustainable financial and governance policies. Our certification process includes a rigorous application, document assessment, on-site visits that both include industry experts as well as lived experience experts. And that collaboration between professional evaluators as well as survivors is really crucial because survivors offer valuable insight that experts alone just can't provide. At Safe House Project, we believe that survivors are the experts of their own experiences, and our certification ensures that programs provide comprehensive trauma-informed care that empowers survivors through their healing journey, and this initiative ensures that they have access to the best care possible. The certification process is about partnership, not criticism. We work closely with service providers to ensure that we are empowering survivors to take ownership of their healing journey, that we're offering comprehensive care, that we're supporting economic independence, that we're connecting survivors with understanding communities, and we are providing real opportunities for long-term success. We deeply appreciate the programs across South Carolina that have already been working tirelessly to support survivors, and this initiative allows us to create a statewide ecosystem of support with one simple goal: ensuring that every survivor in South Carolina has access to the highest quality care. This is about more than surviving. It's about rebuilding and thriving and reclaiming a future of possibility. To every survivor, your experiences do not define you. Your journey is your own, and you have the power to shape your future. And we are committed to work alongside South Carolina to strengthen your support, respect your autonomy, and believe in your potential. Under the leadership of Attorney General Wilson and Director Moorhead, we are not just responding to human trafficking. We are creating a national model for comprehensive survivor-centered care. Together, we're recognizing the resilience of survivors and creating pathways to hope, freedom, and a future. Thank you. And thank you to all of the task force.
Thank you. So as we begin the process of certifying organizations, we will add those certified victim services providers to our online resource directory, which you will be able to find at the humantrafficking.scag.gov website, the human trafficking website for our task force. So judges, law enforcement, people involved in the criminal justice system will be able to go to a website, be able to look and see if they're dealing with a case that involves a victim of human trafficking, that they can go and see that, oh, this victim service provider has been vetted and is a safe place for that victim to go with people who have been trained. And that is incredibly important. Now, while the task force and Safe House Project roll out this new program that will vet victim services providers, we have not forgotten, and we know that you have not forgotten, that last year the General Assembly appropriated $6.5 million for victim and survivor treatment facilities. As all of you know, South Carolina only has 15 beds for minor victims of human trafficking, and I think there were about 300 to 400 victims identified by SLED in the previous fiscal year. So you have hundreds of potential victims of human trafficking. Many have been trafficked not only in their communities, but maybe within their families or people adjacent to their families who know their families. You can't return them back to that unsafe environment. So having a place to send them is so vitally important. We're continuing to go through the process of the bid process, which will be a public, transparent process, to award that $6.5 million to service providers who will be able to provide those treatment facilities and those beds for young men and women, and mostly women, but also young men, kids who are the survivors of human trafficking crimes. And so we want to have them to have a safe place to go. Once that bid is awarded and they're up and running, they will be folded up under Safe House Project's vetting system, and they will go to that online registry where they will be, where people will be able to go to see that this organization that this child or this victim is going to is a good organization. Again, I'd like to thank the members of the South Carolina General Assembly for funding these critical steps in developing, expanding, and vetting services throughout South Carolina. This task force would not be where it is today, first, without the legislative mandate and the funding provided to us by a bipartisan group of legislators in the General Assembly. So thank you to them, to our leadership, to the governor for signing off on it as well. And obviously a lot of people standing up here, and I do want to say this, how many people here are task force staff that work in the Attorney General's office? Okay, so these are the men and women in our office who are supporting the efforts. Everyone else up here who's a member of this task force, y'all have day jobs, right? You're not being paid to be here today. They come from other organizations, other agencies, nonprofit groups, law enforcement agencies, organizations, and they are here for the simple love of wanting to support victims and combat human trafficking. And they voluntarily are here today to support the regional and the state task force's efforts. So as South Carolina continues to lead the country in our efforts to combat human trafficking, we will continue to work hard to prevent the crime, respond to the victim's needs, and prosecute those who exploit others through human trafficking. I want to thank everyone for being here today, and I'm happy to take any questions right now about this issue, and if the media wants to talk to me about other issues, I'm happy to talk about them out there. Any questions about this program? Okay, we've answered all your questions. Excellent. To our task force members and staff, thank you so much. We'll let you guys get back to the work of the people, and thank you for what you do not only today, but every day. We love it. This concludes the press conference. You may take your seats. Thank you for being props, too.